Well, I've worked construction my whole life as a welder, and about 30 years ago, drinking got to be a real habit. So I quit drinking, and then something to occupy my free time, I just started building sculptures.
Tom started creating metal sculptures in his front yard, quickly filling it up, much to the dismay of the township, which said his creations were illegal, so he moved them to the backyard. But that space wasn't big enough.
2003, we refinanced our house for another 100 years. Bought this property, made some trails through the woods and zigzagged around where I could get as much trail space as possible, and cleaned out the yard and threw all that junk out here and been adding to it ever since. I mean, I enjoy building the stuff, and then you see, like, especially this time of year, there'll be school buses pulling with, 40, 50 kids jump off and go running through the place and having a ball and, really enjoying it.
Today, Lakenenland spans 37 acres and features more than 100 sculptures, plus picnic areas, pavilions, entertainment stages, a playground, and more. It's free to enter, open year-round, and it deserves to be mentioned.
Yeah, everything out here is scrap that was going to a recycle or dump or something. You get into these mines and powerhouses and paper mills and big industrial places, and they just rip out tons of iron sometimes, and you go in there and talk to the right guy and tell them what you're doing with it, and they'll just about give you anything. Bring a case of beer on the job and load up with whatever you want.
Visitors can walk the winding trail or drive part of it to admire Tom's creation. One of my favorites was the Rusty Chain Band.
That was some conveyor chain I got out of Louisiana Pacific down in Segola. And that was a big drag chain where they haul all the mills or the logs up into the mill. They run them through a water bath and clean them in big paddles. And that was actually pretty easy. You just take a piece of chain and bend it like a knee and weld it together, and that was it, So I don't have no real rhyme or reason. Just every once in a while I'll get an idea of something I'd like to build, but usually it's just whatever I can make out of the junk I've collected.
As I wandered through the park, I was convinced his property had to include an old mine. Turns out, I was wrong.
No, all that mining stuff is all junk that I hauled here. Yeah, that's just, with all the mining heritage around the area, I thought I'd make some type of, mining sculpture. And yeah, it was just parts and pieces. The head frame is an old electrical tower up in Nagani. The steam drum there was a condensate tank out of the paper mill. The little ore cars were dust collectors from the Tilden mine. The cabin was an old sauna from down in Rumley. The little mixing balling machine was a cement mixer I got from a buddy of mine. And the railroad and that all the little ore cars are on, the wheels were come off the ore dock, and were ladders. So yeah, there wasn't no mine here, but well, it's different, I guess. I heard that a long time ago. If you're going to be successful, you either got to be really good or really different. I said, I think it'd be easier just to be different. So this is kind of different, and people seem to enjoy it, come and go as they please. And
each piece can take anywhere from a few hours to a few weeks to complete, and Tom does nearly all the work himself. Now, recently retired, he has no plans to stop. He'll keep turning scrap into art for everyone to enjoy.
My mother does a lot of the painting. If you see where it looks nice, the painting, that's all her creativity. I'm not much of a painter, and I'll slosh one coat of paint on it, some color, and then she comes down and touches everything up and does all the detail painting. So I still have a lot of junk, and I'm always collecting more. My daughter's an iron worker, and my son is a heavy equipment mechanic. So they get scrap off of their jobs for me, and I still got buddies that call every now and then. So I'll be building more sculptures and just keep adding them to them. But yeah, you want to see something different, stop by. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.